How Micah did over $42,000 worth of deals in his first 30 days. What is up, guys? Zackin here, and in today's video, we have Micah on, and I really want to get his first 2 deals in his first 30 days and really break it down of how he was able to do it and how you can do the same exact thing. Micah, thank you so much for hopping on today.
Sure thing, man. Glad to be
awesome, here. Man. So let's start out. How did you get started in real estate wholesaling? What's your story?
Okay, so let's back up just a little bit. I started a pressure washing business a couple years during the pandemic, and I just got tired of running a business. I didn't want to build myself out of it. So I started in real estate. I became a realtor, and then I figured out that was just a job too. And I was like, screw this. I need to do something like where I'm not the 3% of the transaction. I want to be like the person making the big chunks like everybody else, like the other side of the transaction. So I had people telling me that I needed to set a foundation of knowing how to do the wholesaling as a kind of like a foundation. So I started I typed wholesaling in YouTube, and then I watched like the most viewed, the highest viewed videos. And then I got down to one of you guys's videos, and I noticed there was like free, and I like a deal. So I kind of got obsessed with watching like you guys, and I liked that it's live every day. It kind of caught my attention that you guys were just pushing out brand new content, because everybody can like repost old stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
But it is all the same thing. At a certain point, you've seen it all, but it's great to just see somebody who's pumping out more content and helping out people. I don't know. I really liked it, and it was actionable. Like you had specific things that I needed to do right away. I kind of jumped in. There was a 30-day kind of crash course, and I was behind schedule. That was like two and a half months ago. Yeah. And I was already into like day 20 or something. But I went back and I started those days, and basically I got on Deal Machine and I started driving for dollars, like like in person. And I got a bunch of leads, and I came back and I used Podio. It was free up to a certain point, and I maxed that out within 3 or 4 days, putting the actual driving for dollars like in real life. And then I kind of reverse engineered it, and I ended up getting 1,000 leads entered in to my Podio with a bunch of free skip trace through, what is it? The one that you guys
True
People Search. And I mean, that's 1,000 leads. They were mostly like non-owner occupied, so it's like people who have rentals, and usually like 2 or 3, so they're not necessarily in the business of it, and they probably get tired of it. And both of the deals I got was through landlords who were just trying to get out of it. They were at the end of the line. They didn't want to be that involved in them, and they both needed a lot of work.
Awesome. Okay. And so let's talk about the first deal. So what was the marketing on that one?
That's an awesome thing about it. It's just what I already had in place. I was just making phone calls, like probably 80 to 100 contacts a day. And I know it sounds low, but some of these people had like 5, 6 numbers a piece. And then especially if I got the voicemail on a cell phone, I just send a text right away. And I've actually got a lot of response. Even if it's no, I like to see that somebody, that's been the best for me. I call. I don't care about voicemails because just in my mind, I wouldn't know who's calling me, Yeah. I just don't have the right system set up to where it would just kind of be awkward. Anyway, I leave a text, and I've gotten quite a few people text me back. Even like recently, it was like a month ago, I had called him and I sent him a text, and he's actually like, yeah, I like to sell. So I'm going to go look at it Wednesday.
Okay. And so the first deal there, so what kind of list was that?
It's not a list. I just made it myself through Deal Machine.
Oh, through driving for dollars.
Reverse driving for dollars. Yeah.
Okay. Got it from there. And then when you met with them, what's the story on that one?
I said I'd have to see kind of the condition before I can make them that final offer. And they were in Joplin. They had there was a tragic death in the family, actually. Their son was taking care of the property, and now that he passed away, they don't have anybody to take care of it. So anyway, I had to meet with like a grandson, and that was like a week later. I just had to keep following through, and finally met with a grandson, and we like built really good rapport right away. And we walked in the house, and then he was actually the one that helped me negotiate a price that was a lot lower than I actually was going to offer.
Okay. And what was your offer price on that one?
On the phone, I'm such a noob, dude. I'm just making this up and like listening to you guys as much as I can. But I was like, they said something about, well, we bought it for 40,000. And I was like, okay, I might give you 60, which is such a stupid thing, man. I feel so stupid, but you just keep learning, Yeah. And I showed up, and I was like, it looks a whole lot like there's so many more repairs than I was planning on having to make. I was like, man, I'd probably have to get Actually, I said 35,000. I'd probably have to give you 35,000. He's like, well, I think we need more like 40. Can we meet in the middle? And I was like 38,000. So that's what we went under for. And it's a 3-bed, 2-bath, 2,100 square foot, and it was livable. Yeah, it was like a ton of value, and I didn't know that because I looked at the realtor.com, like the listing, and it said it was only like 1,700 square foot, and I guess they hadn't counted some of the upstairs, so it was like an added bonus.
Okay. So that specific one, 38,000, and you said you wholesale this one?
Yeah, I didn't actually do anything to it besides a little bit of AC work. Like they needed the heater turned on, so I
Mhm.
had to have my heating and air guy come out and like put some duct work back together. It was just a couple $100, and then I sold it on the market for 55,000. So
Nice.
that closed today, $12,000 profit on that one.
Awesome, man. How does that feel, dude? Make 12K on that deal?
It's incredible. It's huge. It's really big, and it's just a start. Like
It is just a start, I always, if you look at your whole entire wholesaling real estate career, the first deal is never going to be the most money you're going to make, which is actually really exciting. But the
mhm,
most important thing you always see, it's a proof of concept, right? That like it actually works and that you can do this, right?
definitely.
So I think that's a huge step for you. And then for deal number two, what's the story of that one?
I guess this older couple, they bought a house for their mother, and it's actually a town south of Joplin. It's Neosho. So the house that their mom still lives in a house, but the house next to it, they bought it and they were going to fix it up and live in it so they could be close to their mom. And then they ended up like moving out of town and building on a big ranch. So they became landlords, and they've never wanted to become landlords. So I gave them a call, and we set up a time pretty soon after that. And I walked the property.
All right. And how did the deal go?
We walked through it, and the wife was wanting to make sure that they got a whole lot of money. But anyways, we talked forever and just kind of I listened to basically their whole life story, and then she had to take off, and the man was actually the decision maker, it turned out. So
Okay.
we kind of talked more, and I listened to him, and I was like, I'd probably have to offer you 60 for this, or I said 55 or 60. And then he said, well, we bought it for 70 and we put $15,000 into it. So they bought it wrong. Anyway, as I ended up buying it for 65, and it's a 3-bed, 1-bath with 1150 square foot.
Wow. And then you said, you got to figure out what you're going to do with this one, but you said you could probably make 42 off of it, not 40,
Maybe.
30,000 off of a kind of like a burst strategy on this one, right?
It is. So bought it for 65, and I put $10,000 into the repairs, and it should be worth 105,000 right now.
Nice.
Maybe even more, but I'm in the process of getting all my money back out, and
Yeah,
then I'll have like 30 grand of equity in a house that I don't have to pay taxes on. It's kind of the plan.
dude, it's a great deal. Are you going to rent that one out?
It's already rented. It came rented at 750, but I'm gonna
Oh,
bump it to 900.
dude, that's actually a really good deal.
Mm-hmm.
I should buy that one. Just kidding, man. That's a great deal. I think it's so funny that everyone thinks like a linear deal in real estate is like you just got to sign every single one. No, like if you use the strategy, you could still find deals like this, right? And if you get your money out, it's a free deal. Keep going the marketing. Was this one a drawing for dollars deal also?
It's both. That's all I do is I reverse drive for dollars.
What's your
And
schedule for reverse drawing for dollars?
to be honest, it's been pretty bad lately. I've been doing actual physical work for me and my dad.
Okay.
Has his own projects going, and he's like doing finished drywall work, and he hates it. So I'm kind of giving him a boost right now. But when I was going hard, it was like I was either making my list bigger from 8 to 12 or 8 to 1, and then I'd call like 1 to 5:30, 6, something like that every day.
Wow. Okay. And what is your schedule looking like for the future? So you keep doing these type of deals.
Yeah, I kind of got to push past a little bit of labor, but I'm gonna get back on just calling. That's my main thing. It's making the calls. 1 to 7. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, and really, so from these four deals, how many leads do you think you've pulled in total?
Ooh, 16 to 1800.
Yeah, so I mean that's a lot, but it took that much. And then how many hours do you think you've put into it? I know Deal Machine shows it, but have you looked at that ever?
I haven't looked at that. No. The first 2 weeks was super intense. Actually, 1 week I got the first 1,000. It was 6 days, and I got 1,000 leads in the first 6 days.
Holy moly! How did you choose the areas to target?
I just targeted everything because I want to. Actually, I skipped over basically like things that are way above the
Yeah.
average, yeah, in the area.
Wow, man, and that's amazing. And then what was your script looking like?
It kept changing around a little bit, but mostly it's just, hey, is this the owner of 123 Main Street? It's just what you guys say. I mean, it's pretty
Yeah.
much copy paste. And if you do the work, you get the results. So that's
I love it, man. I think one really important thing that I kind of learning from you here is just like anyone can get started and do this, right? Like you weren't an expert talking to people over the phone, right? Like you weren't an expert meeting with the seller, or like doing like, how do you go over that fear of just going meeting the seller and closing the deal? Because I think so many people have that, you know?
I had that like so much. I was a real estate agent last year and I just couldn't pick up the phone call. I had like this extreme anxiety about it. And
Yeah.
it turned out I hated being a realtor. So you have to know that you like what you're doing. And I think it's the why. You have to have a reason why you don't care about the fear, whatever. Like you just push right past the fear because it has to be done. Like you just have to know that it's a numbers game and that lots of people might be rude to you, but eventually you'll get to the guy who needs to sell their house.
And what was your why?
Honestly, I'm 30 and I'm trying to get prepared financially for a family.
Dude, that's all the reason enough, man. I like it, dude. I like your story here. I think it was really inspirational. I think so many people can really relate to your story, right? They're on the cusp of getting their first deal. They're on the cusp of getting their second deal. And really, I think it's really important just to bring people on that got in their first or second deal and just really learn how they did it and how other people can do it right. Because you're not in a crazy metropolitan area. You're in like not a small town in like southwestern Missouri, but like decent population, but like 50,000 population. And you can get deals all day there, right? And I think it was really inspirational. So, Mike, I really appreciate you coming on. Do you have any parting thoughts for the audience before we hop off?
I'd just say, listen to the advice that Zach and Rick give. I'm not getting paid to do this, man. Just it's like copy paste. You just do the work and the results come, like I said before.
Dude, 100%, man. Like just this business is super simple, but it's also really complicated the way you want to look at it, right? And
It is,
if
yeah.
you took the courage, man, to go out and talk to the sellers, you got the deals, right? And if you decided you didn't want to talk to the sellers or you were just too nervous to do it, you'd have zero deals, right? So
Yeah.
I commend you for your courage, man. And one like a quick question, like I just want to know for like somebody watching this who has a lot of anxiety talking to a seller, they're really nervous. What is the one that you can tell them besides, you know, I mean, their reasoning for it or their why to just get over that, right? Like, do you have any tips for that?
Yeah. I still get it. Like I have this feeling like, oh, I don't want to make calls today, but you just got to make yourself do the things that you don't want to do because I think the biggest rewards come from doing the things that you don't want to do that you know are going to actually move the ball forward. So I pull up my contacts and I just make the call. I press dial, press the phone, and it pops up, and then I dial it as soon as I can without just looking at it. Like just don't look at it, don't think about it, just hit the dial. Smile on the dial. Let's go.
That's it, man. And do the nerves sort of go away when the first like 30 seconds in the call?
Oh yeah. I mean, nobody picks up and then you're like, let's just keep going.
Yeah. I've always found with like, you know, being nervous starting out as a beginner, 90% of the battle is just clicking the dial button, kind of like working out, right? Most of the battle is just going to the gym, right? And once you get over that, you got it, man. So Micah, thank you so much for hopping on. I really appreciate it. So guys, I really appreciate you guys hopping on. Make sure you like that button and subscribe, and see you guys soon. Thanks.